Hi, just wanted to make a quick uh, check-in, talk some nonsense and whatnot because my videos and I actually enjoy telling about my thoughts, my life, showing my crocheting work, etc. So I will do just that. Um, as you can see, at the moment I am not working on the Sloth, the big project, which I have posted 2 or 3 videos of getting yarn barf knots on the thread while working, so I have to stop and untangle and then get quite discouraged to actually work more with that yarn in particular, although it's one of the best yarns I have ever worked with. Um, and definitively plan on getting more because I actually have grown quite fond of the color. Um, it's like dark brown chocolate, or not quite that dark chocolate, but like almost dark chocolate. Not really milky chocolate. Um, Working with it has it started out as me not really being that fond of the color, but like I wanted to try it because I have actually never worked properly with just one solid brown color. I've always uh, had brown in some kind of color changing way uh, while I have been making things, like with the vintage one. But when I was actually working with the vintage thread, it gave an aftertaste that I quite enjoyed actually. So I will definitively get more of that color, but it'll be have to be when I buy more yarn, and the next time I do that, it'll be probably closer to Christmas if I have worked through enough yarn, because I refuse to actually buy more yarn now before I have used up at least 4 or 5 of the yarn cakes I have, because I have quite a lot of thread actually, and based on how much I have left still after making things, um, like in an earlier video when I did show the cutter får ikke plass, de tar plass sign like thingy, I still had almost everything of this yarn cake left. Um, Obviously, I have been using quite a lot now because of this, um, and what I did use on the little sign thingy. But like, unless I and if I end up with just 4 skeins left, I might actually buy more, depending on what I'm making and or how much money I have at the time. Um, I'm actually planning to, as I might have mentioned in quite a few videos now, make an Etsy shop for both big and small projects. I want to do things like this, just I will more use uh, things I know I can use and sell further, because there's no law stopping me from making a public pattern. For example, um, Telemarkstjerna, which is basically star-like shape on most winter mittens here in Norway, very specific to the area Telemark. I really love that shape. Or any public made like pictures of, uh, for example, pixel art or something I make myself. Um, I'm planning on taking on commissions. These small ones, as I call them, uh, take between 3 and 7 days to make, and then the postal service. But since I'm starting small, I will actually only take the cost for a skein of yarn, or not really skein, but like, what are they called? A spool of yarn, the spools I use. Uh, and they are actually quite expensive. And this is also a quite time consuming thing to make. Um, so, but if I am selling things of a pattern that is not made by me specifically, I will specify that I don't own the rights to the pattern. I found it on a late night Google search, as you all know, and I really wish I had the info to the artist. I am actually going to try and search up the original artist for some of these pixel art pictures I'm using as patterns, and ask if, hey, can I do this or that? Because I want to credit them and give them credit for the work they have put in to make the patterns that well, to make the pictures I'm using as a pattern. Yeah. Um. So there's that. But like, I can sell my own products. There's no law stopping me from um not being able to sell what I do. I have heard people say, "Don't you want to sell it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do," and I am actually also open to um, making blankets or something with these patterns. It's like, as I did with the geckos, I could just make lots of the geckos and get the length you want and the width ish. It all depends on the thickness of the thread, etc. But like, let's say you want 10 in length and 5 in width. Okay, it's, for example, for a baby blanket. Obviously, I can do that. I can sew them together, I can do this or that. But the more you want, the more it's going to cost, because um, a single piece will cost 375 kroners, which is a fair price if you actually take into consideration all the hours I'm going to use, and then also the shipping included, at least for the first few customers, maybe the first half year or so, um, because all you're really paying for is the yarn, not the time I'm using. I'm just going to have to recheck the pattern. Yes, and then I'll just do open. And I want to hear if it's wrong of me to uh, just take the price for a yarn spool. Yes, I get quite a lot of yarn from each spool, but like, I have to take something and I can't take too much for things. Um, I've also been kind of, when I first was done with school, I had a talk with my old teacher in arts and crafts. I took a year doing that, and I really loved it. My main teacher that year, like VGN, lovely woman, lovely crafter for most things actually. Um, I wanted to let her. I did actually tell her that, hey, I want to make things maybe by crocheting and then selling them, and she kind of discouraged me, probably because she then thought of like, oh, a competitor. Like, I'm not trying to compete with anybody. I make things, I quite enjoy it, it's therapy for me, and I want to see others happy as well, and maybe receive some personal gifts. Um, I mean, I could make small enough things to be used as coasters for that matter. I have been thinking of trying to make color variations, but frankly, I feel the single color ones are working the best for me. This is also my style because I'm doing things almost a bit differently, or not just almost, but like quite a bit differently from others. Um, I am doing things my way, and that's just what works for me, I guess. Um, and yeah, but like I, I'm not sure what to say really because I have so much I want to share with the world. I have so much to say. Um, the sloth I am not working on at the moment. I really needed that break. It feels quite good actually to work on something else. I think I must take small breaks from the big projects because um, it could be quite stressful to just work on one thing all the time. Um, and also due to the size of it, I often feel like I'm not getting anywhere. And I actually also had to edit some of the original pattern as well because I did some wrong counting somewhere, and I had like 5 squares too little in length, which should not have happened, but it did, sadly. And I just no. So I am winging it at the moment and trying to correct the last part of it at least. So I'm doing just that, and hopefully it'll look okay-ish. So yeah, there's that. Um, I can also safely say that this old thread that I'm using at the moment, which I did strongly complain about when I last used it, uh, is like now the closer I'm getting to the actual middle part of it and outwards, it's not as stiff to use, it's not as hard, and it's more silky smooth. It, I think the most inner part of it that was, or at least from that this skein, which was the outside, were rough, and it really was rough to the touch. And I can see that it's not perfectly made, and I don't think it was supposed to either, but some parts are thicker than others and more fluffy. So when I have used this up, I think I will be quite happy. Um, I am not quite sure actually of what type of yarn to use on the project for Dakota's aunt, because I want to do something with the greenish beige yarn I have from the brand Chain. Um, but I can't because I feel like that particular yarn uh, is for another project which I am currently in the thinking process of figuring out. Uh, and I think it's one of the finest threads I have. Um, so I'm not quite sure what to make out of it yet, but I do have a plan um, to make something I really like with it. Sadly, I cannot show you because the pictures I'm thinking of who could be potential good is in the phone that's recording me now, and that makes it quite difficult. Uh, yeah, as you can see, I'm getting quite tired because I think my sleeping pills are kicking in. So I'll just show that, hey, this is going to be a cat. Um, I am actually going to make one last row either way, even if I'm doing it on camera or not, because then I will be done with the whiskers. And the last row of just full um, double crochets, like all the way almost. Um, if you are wondering, I'm actually starting my uh, rows of double crochet with a stacked single crochet. I learned how to do that in a video I watched one time, and the end result of it is basically that it looks as if I have made a standard double crochet as the first row either way, and I don't get the uh, kind of like loop ish middle part in between, like you get in the start of the row often. Um, and I feel like it looks quite a lot better. It's just like that, I think. And I have also heard from some locals like, how can you see that tiny thread you're using? How can you do this? How can you do that? And I'm like, I can see it as long as my glasses are the correct uh, everything. I can see good. I can do quite a lot of fine details and so on. I also want to congratulate my cats, Ask and Chaplin, for having their birthday today, the 30th of September. They turned 4, and I'm quite happy to hear that they received tuna for dinner because that's one of their most favorite things to eat besides their dry food. And believe me, if they say they want dry food, they will eat nothing else than dry food. Even if you try to give them wet food, they do absolutely not want it. So, yeah. Um, they do actually have quite a good online presence because my ex is now also streaming on Twitch. She is playing Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom for the first time, and she actually allowed the cats near her equipment, and she has this very sensitive microphone. She's got an okay camera, and she's better than me at streaming because she actually has a capture card. Um, so yeah, there's that. Um, I do not have a capture card, although I wish I did, and I'm not about to bring my, for example, PlayStation 3 to her place, borrow her equipment, and then take it back home because my PS3 is heavy and yeah, no. Plus, I don't want the cats near it, basically because they like to sit on top of it. Yes, I know I could put it away, but like, no. Uh, I like to keep it at home, here where I live. So, yeah, I am saving up for a capture card though. Was it just me, or was something moving in the background? Could have just been my imagination. But yeah, like, they're cats. Um, if you want to watch them, see how they look, I strongly suggest you looking at the latest episode of Base of the uh, at Twitch, and she's got a cat with a color as her profile picture, which is hand drawn. She made herself, basically her persona, but she's like, "But I'm not a furry," and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, you are. You know quite a few furries, and you often meow, and sometimes she actually speaks with a meow. It's like when in Norwegian, she is sometimes, at least when she's saying menneske, human, she's saying mjauske, meow, menneske, mjauske, mjauske, menneske. So yeah, there's that. And when I call her out on it, she's like, no, shush, it's not that. I'm saying, and then she spells the word instead of actually saying it. And I'm like, yeah, you can spell it, but you cannot say it because each time you're trying to say it, you're like, meow, 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 meow. And just to kid with her, sometimes I do say, hey, you're actually a cat trapped in a human body. And she's like, meow? No, 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 I'm not. Shush, 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 shush. You don't know what you're talking about. Meow. I think it's mostly a running joke, but like, she's acting like a cat sometimes. Um, I also um, wish I could have been with them today on their birthday, but like I haven't left my apartment for quite a few days now because I've been tired, and also because it's been raining. Uh, Last week I was supposed to be at my, what you call it, physiotherapist. I slept from when I went to bed by 12 o'clock, actually, at by midnight, until like 14 in the day. Um, it's not ideal. I wish I didn't sleep so much, but like from yesterday till today, I slept 11 hours and I didn't hear any clocks, and I had like five of them. Like four on my phone, one. Why did I just start a third one? One on my actual alarm clock, which is set to every day at 10 a.m. ring. If I'm not sleeping too soundly, I will actually hear it, but I did not register it today, and my phone was like, "You have four missed alarms." So, yeah, and when I was sleeping in a sleep study back in June, I had 0% of REM sleep, REM, and my sleep quality was basically non existent, and I'm chronically tired, so I'm not sure if I've got some kind of fatigue syndrome. I want to test for it, but like doctors, hard to deal with, etc. But now struggling to get up and struggling to fall asleep. It's like my sleep quality based on that sleep study was 79%, which is not ideal. It should be 100% asleep when you sleep, and also you should have REM sleep. So basically, I'm not resting when I'm sleeping, I'm just running on fumes. Probably explains why I sometimes fall asleep when being fully awake and just sitting down watching something, which I do quite a bit more easy if I don't crochet or do something. Mostly crocheting keeps me awake, so there's that. Um, I just I don't know what to say really, other than I hope you who are watching this video are I'm sorry, are having a good time and taking care of yourself and listening to your body. I should go to sleep, but like I I felt like I couldn't before I have finished this row, and for me when working, a row is going from right to left and back to the start. The reason I'm doing it, I find the aesthetic look quite fun, and it's actually how I feel that it looks better. Um, it may not look better in some people's eyes, but like I'm the one making this and I like it, and none of those who have actually gotten things from me have been disappointed in what they got. So that's something. Um, but yeah, I'm a left-handed person, and I crochet as if I'm right-handed. Uh, I don't think I quite explained why I wanted to talk about it. Um, I was on Reddit and I saw a comment in the forum for crochet, um, that one person was a lefty and did explain that, and I'm like, yeah, but how do you do things with the left hand? I myself am a lefty. I have the best motor skills in my left hand, um, but I still cannot for the life of me use a crochet hook with my left hand, although I have tried so many times. I do eat correctly with the fork and knife, of course. That is something that was drilled into my brain by my grandma, my dad's mom. She was like, "Where is your table manners, boy? You need some table manners. You cannot eat with the fork and knife like that. You have to do this and that." So she spent like 3 days teaching me table manners and how to use a fork and a knife properly. And I'm like, but what's wrong with the way I'm using it? You're not using it. That's the problem, and that's also why you struggle with cutting your meat and such. And I'm like, so there's another way to do things. And my grandma was like strict and like, yeah, there is. And you should pay attention here because you are a left handed person. You are supposed to keep the knife in your left hand. And I'm like, but you don't. No, because I'm a right handed person. And you have to do things the opposite of me. I'm like, opposite? I'm supposed to use my feet? And she got quite annoyed, understandably. Uh, and she was like, no. And then she began the whole lesson, and we sat there for hours, for 2 or 3 days, until I got it. And to be fair, I have forgotten pretty much everything other than spoon, a standard spoon, perhaps teaspoon if I'm eating cake or so, and how to hold a regular knife and a regular fork. So, yeah, that woman also could not stand the fact that I wanted to eat the rest of my food later. It was like, I want a second portion. Oh no, I can only eat a third of it. I thought I was more hungry. And yeah, she did save food so we could eat it later, but she was not happy about it because it took a precious place in the fridge, and I'm like, your fridge is barely empty or barely full. It's not even half full, and you're complaining about the amount of food you have in your fridge. She's like, yeah, and it's my fridge, and I want it empty. And I'm like, so that's why you go to the store every day? She got mad, but she calmed down and she was like, no, it's because it looks cleaner and it's easier to clean it. And I'm like, but you take a day every month to clean your fridge normally? And yeah, no. Mind you, this is also the year when I was 13, and she was quite unhappy with me in general. um, autistic kid, teen, person, not happy with themselves, obviously struggle a lot with body image and so on and so on. She did not like the fact that I spent quite a lot of my days in my room, um, because the year before I was more social. But like, I was 13, I had just, I was about to begin junior high, middle school, and what does she expect? Happy go lucky kid. Yeah, so does not mean I am one. And I've always been glued to the TV. I've always been uh, quite uh, alone. Uh, I've always been like this or that. And I actually remember one time, I think it was when I was done with the 10th grade, I uploaded a picture on Facebook and I tagged my grandparents, like my dad's parents, on Facebook. And I'm like, look what I did. I got a 4 plus on it, which is a very, very good grade. Um, I really worked hard on that painting. What's their response? They block me on Facebook because they were tagged in a photo that I had made for 4 weeks on school, and I got a good grade on it. What kind of grandparents is that? Blocking your kid on Facebook because they tag you in a photo of something they made. Again, I was about, it was not 2013, it was 2010 because I turned 13 in 2010. So it's like in 2013, I turned 16. I make a picture I'm very proud of and I post it on Facebook to show all my friends and family, which are everywhere actually. Um, my grandparents blocked me. Had my grandma on my mother's side had a Facebook and been able to actually use it, she would have loved it. I actually believe she, if I had printed a copy of the photo, she would have hung it up on her wall because everything I make, she wants up on the wall, basically. And to be fair, I have quite a bit more happy memories with my mom's mom compared to my dad's mom because grandma on my father's side, she's not really a bad person per se, but as an autistic person, I did actually try to explain to her from a very early age, if you are chatting with me, I will read literally what you are saying when you write, word for word, not any hidden meaning that could be completely the opposite. Because sarcasm, I can understand quite a lot of sarcasm compared to what most autistic people can from others, but I don't do hidden messages unless I know the person specifically. And I actually honestly never felt I understood my grandma. So obviously I complained to my dad because I felt she was rude. And I did not like how she reacted when I tried to say, hey, please write exactly what you mean and not something else. She she ended up when my dad called her to tell him that I was a trouble kid, and then he ended up calling me and yelling at me and telling me to say sorry to my grandma. When I told her in the first place that she did say something I reacted to and that I did not like it and that I did not understand what she was meaning, and when she tried to explain what she was saying, I said, no, that's not what you said. Because if you write something, that's what you write. People cannot automatically know that. For example, Peter has a brown shirt means he does not like the brown shirt. You see what I mean? Or rather, no, he does not have a brown shirt. He wants one. She said the completely opposite when I told her to explain what she meant because I could not understand her. And so she has done so all the time. And she could be a good person. I have some good memories with her, but my last, not good. And honestly, each time I see her comment something on my uncle's Facebook page or my aunt's, because my uncle and aunt, well, my uncle is my dad's brother, so obviously he has to deal with grandma. Each time I see her comment, I'm like, why? Why do we exist? Why are we here? Like, he's our kid and he can do whatever he wants, but from what I know, he understands that I struggle quite a lot to have a relationship with her. And I have tried so many times as an adult, like from the day I turned 16, to fix the relationship because it was going bad back then already. She does not. I also quite a lot miss my grandpa, my dad's dad. I have actually liked him quite a lot more than my grandma. But all the times I have tried to contact him, he's been, yeah, I want contact. He's not answering me. I tried to call him on Skype, he's not answering me. Um, which is sad because I think I think he's being influenced by my grandma, who literally told me back in 2016, you are not trans. You are lying to yourself about who you are. And I don't like the changes that Testo has done with you. And I'm like, on what grounds do you have to say that? Yeah, but you were not like that as a 7-year old. Oh, I wasn't, was I? I have from the day I was 2 said, no, I'm not a girl, I'm a boy. And there was this one chat I had with my grandma on Facebook where I sent her a message and telling her I was finally starting to get happy with myself, how I look, how I feel about myself. Her response was, "No, you're lying. You were not like that as a 7-year old." And that's actually the year like 2004. I was 7 when they started to take interest in me, actually. And yeah, no. All I can remember is that I threw my phone in the sofa couch, same thing I'm sitting on now, and I walked away. I was fuming mad and hurt, and I cried, I yelled, I stomped on the floor. It was just bad to see. And I literally could not believe that my own grandmother would tell me that I am lying because I was not like that as a kid. She never knew me as a kid, she never bothered. And when I grew up, I obviously became the normal teenager, more secluded, something like that, you know. She, the last summer I spent in Sweden with her, I was quite a lot in my room. I only came out to eat some days because I was also suffering from a quite bad depression, obviously. And I think at that point my autism was quite present, more affecting me day to day life than it is now, and also the depression I had. Um, I think she thought I was not happy being there and therefore did not want to tell me when there was dinner, breakfast, lunch, um, or when they were going out to the store, something I would have loved to join just to do something else than sit and think and think and think and think and play video games and just thinking, being in my own little world where I obviously needed to have some interactions in the day at least. Or when they were went to swim because I was not allowed to swim alone for some reason. I don't know. Um, I did go in the middle of the night anyway. uh, she really could not handle a teenage kid. Obviously, she should have asked me, "Hey, what's going on? I noticed this." She never did. She just assumed I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to talk to them. And when I actually came out, I did fidget with something, often Pokemon, because I'm autistic, hyper fixation. My brother was like, "Yeah, he does what he does because he lives with me." My grandma? Nah. Okay, if he wants to be antisocial, then we shall not talk to him at all, and he will not join us for anything. And I'm like, how can you do that to your own grandchild? Yes, I know I was not an easy teenager. I know I did quite a lot of bad myself. But like, she just gave up on me that year, and since then have actually been quite rude towards me. And yes, I miss her because she have influenced me quite a lot as an adult because of what I learned to do and not to do. And yeah, life. Uh, Before I end up talking nonsense now, because I'm actually struggling to even see, I should have gone to bed like an half an hour ago or even more. Like I had to do things. I can show how it looks now because now the whiskers are done. It's kinda easier to see it like this. So yeah. Um I'm just going to double check the pattern real quick. That one is the last row before the eye, so yeah. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. Yeah, everything is okay. So 4, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 6. Okay. Yeah. So the next row is for the bottom of the eyes and the nose. So that'll be good. I think tomorrow I'll have made quite a lot more because the more open squares, the faster it goes to go through with each row. So yeah. Uh, the next crochet related video I will make might actually be when I'm making the border using where it went using this vintage thread, and you can actually pay attention to how it develops while I'm working. um, I am still figuring out how to get the border correct, but like so far so good. uh, so yeah, that's basically my update for now. And if you are wondering, no, I'm not in a depression. I am just chronically tired. And there's a saying I have about myself: when it's the wind half year of the like half of the year, like autumn winter, that's when I'm chronically asleep basically. So yeah, I may never look awake again for the next 6 months or so. um I hope this video were interesting. If you have anything at all to say in the comments, do tell. uh so yeah. And also, being a lefty, it's quite cool because you can do things with your left hand most people cannot. And there's also been confirmed by quite a few studies that being left-handed in most cases leads to higher IQ. And me being autistic and having my hyper focus on some special interests, yeah, I learned quite a lot. So yeah, but that's it for now, and hopefully the video was not too long. I myself actually quite enjoy like an hour long videos or so, because then I can relax and watch what they're doing and so on. So yeah. um I could briefly also explain the setup I have now, because um I'm using some kind of gorilla uh, tripod like thingy uh, to hold my phone, and it's going ish okay. Still learning how to properly set the thingy. Um, I need to get a better standing thingy or something it could stand on because it's quite low. Uh, and I have not figured out how to make it taller without it falling because of the heaviness of my phone. I'm learning as I go. So, yeah. Uh, I hope you're having a good time and stay safe. Listen to your body as I'm about to do now because I'm about to fall asleep, as you probably see. Um, I've been up far too long, and that's on me because I also took my sleeping meds. So, yeah, and started to make a video because I'm so smart. Um, uh, so, yeah, just have a good time and rest well. Bye.